Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com. And though I'm down here in the overflow room, this is not random reviews from the overflow room, so you don't get to hear that. Sorry. I'm here to tell you about a fabulous, exciting new release. I really mean exciting new release of film score that was created by a Kickstarter funding campaign for the Intrada label. Thank you, all you Kickstarters. You're the best. It's Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein, the complete score by Frank Skinner, who was a first-class film music composer, first-class composer in his way. And it also has on it Abbott and Costello meet the Keystone Cops. That was a committee-type score that was created by Henry Mancini, William Lava and Herman Stein. This is with the Royal Scottish National Orchestra under William T. Stromberg, the redoubtable William T. Stromberg, who's done so much for film music. This is wonderful. I'm so happy. I'm reliving my childhood. I know a lot of you are too. Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein is not just about Frankenstein. It has a plot, if one could call it that, in which everybody is out to get Lou Costello's brain and to replace Frankenstein's brain. You can't even bother with the plot. You've got the Wolfman and Lon Chaney Jr. and Dracula with Bela Lugosi and Frankenstein, and at the very end, Vincent Price pops up as the Invisible Man. Well, he's still invisible, and it's a complete insane. Well, Abbott and Costello, insane comedy farrago of nonsense, with all of these monsters running around all over the place, and the femme fatale who's hypnotized, and you've got a female vampire and Dracula, and you've got it's absolutely wonderful. And when I was a kid, I every Sunday morning was Abbott and Costello movie moment. There were quite a few movies, with a dozen or more of them. I don't know how many they made, but this was one of the great ones. The other great one was the one where they go back into the Revolutionary War period with the ghosts, where Bud Abbott is a normal straight man, and Lou Costello is a ghost. They were shot as traitors originally, but they're not, and they're trying to get into heaven, and there's a seance, and that was a fabulous one as well. But most of the Abbott and Costello movies did not have original scores. They used stock film stuff. It's a lot of it from this, actually, apparently. Skinner took the film completely seriously, which is what had to happen. It's what you need in a movie like this. You need a composer who is completely sold on the concept and who takes each moment that requires music and scores it to the hilt. And that's exactly what happened. The music really helps to make the film, because it's the same thing. There's no difference between that fundamentally and, for example, Mozart's comedies like The Marriage of Figaro or Così fan tutti or Don Giovanni. No matter how stupid or crazy or unbelievable the situation, the composer has to take the characters at face value and treat each situation for what it is. If it's life and death, it's life and death. It doesn't matter that it's absurd. You have to treat it that way. One of the most fascinating moments along those lines in Mozart is the beginning of Act 4 of The Marriage of Figaro, where Barbarina is looking for a pin that she's lost. And it's the most tragic music in the whole opera. It's truly tragic music. And the reason it's truly tragic music is because she's a child and she doesn't understand that losing a pin is no big deal. For her, it's a calamity. And so Mozart treats it that way. That's what the great film composers did. They understood that in order to sell the product, in order for the film to work, the music had to support whatever the situation was in the most graphic possible way. And that's exactly what you get here. Most of the tracks are quite short, but they're extraordinarily atmospheric, and there are a couple large ones. Here, the track Dracula's Legend and Dracula Rises, over 6 minutes of music, and Frankenstein's Monster and Simple Brain, and The Monster's Lap, and some of these others which last, 3 to 4 minutes. And the whole final, imbroglio, which is 8 minutes and 17 seconds of continuous music. Some really serious, extended compositions. And they are just incredibly memorable and serious. Occasionally you get a hint that there may be something bizarre happening. But, it's all bizarre. The music is horror movie music. But I mean that it may not be taking itself entirely seriously where it's appropriate. But it's basically a very, very serious and sonorous score, magnificently played and recorded. And it's 46 minutes long. The Keystone Cops, of course, has, cops and robbers chase, a 10-minute long chase scene in the middle of it. It's a much shorter score. But a lot of other stuff, and it's very capably done by Mancini and Lava and Stein. So this is a must-have. And these productions tend to be limited editions. I don't know what the story is with this, how long it's going to be around. But you should grab it while you can if you're a film score aficionado or if you love excellent movie music. Because it doesn't matter whether the movie is good or bad. What matters is whether the score is great. And the score is great. Frank Skinner outdid himself with this particular job. He knew exactly what to do, and he had the skills. He just had the chops for it. And it's a splendid disc. So kudos to kudos to Stromberg and the Royal Scottish National Orchestra and Intrada and everyone who made this possible. It is a gem, a joy, and a wonderful tribute to Channel 11, WPIX in New York, and their Sunday morning Abbott and Costello feature. There was Chiller Theater and Abbott and Costello. It was all Sunday morning television when I was a kid. And gosh, I am so grateful that they've managed to resurrect this. I really am. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks so much for joining me. Take care.